I let AI decide what mani that I was gonna do. I went into Canva and asked their AI to give me some inspiration for spring manis with flowers. And those pretty creepy looking fingers were what came out. And I have to say that those were the least creepy of all the pictures. Some of the pictures were very, very creepy. I don't know how they made hands look so creepy, but the AI was able to do it. And that's what I decided to use as my inspiration for this mani. So on that picture, there were a bunch of different spring colors, and then they had these cute little flowers. And I decided to go through and use all these fun pastels and then do a bunch of stamping for florals. I tried to pick colors that looked really consistent with the pastels they gave me. In the pictures, some of the ones were not pastels. I'm not even sure like how the different photos that AI generated for me were considered spring nails. If you have a chance to go on different AIs and try to generate some nail inspiration, it is definitely entertaining. You will definitely be a bit creeped out by some of the pictures, but it was actually really fun to try to do something different. Normally, I just look on Pinterest for inspiration if I don't have any ideas myself, but I thought it would be fun to do something different. Now, we're going to start off with our dip powder as the base of our mani. I already have rubber base down on my natural nails, and I actually also have a layer of builder gel over top of the rubber base. I'm going to be doing another video to show everybody who loves the colors of rubber base but needs the strength of builder gel, how you can combine the two. So I only needed to do 2 dips of each of the colors. I already have my apex built with the rubber base builder gel combo. Now on my middle finger with the yellow, I did actually have to do 3 dips. I use peel base over top of the rubber base builder gel combo that I did. And I didn't do a very good job of applying a layer of dip base over top of the peel base once it dried. I always do that because it helps that then your layers of dip adhere nicer to your nail. Like if you do it straight over the peel base, the dip base doesn't adhere well to the peel base sometimes, and your nail can end up looking a little splotchy. So I was not paying attention. I was like too busy giggling about the creepy looking AI fingers that that I got from Canva. So instead of paying attention to how much dip base I was putting over my peel base, I just kind of slopped it on quick. And I ended up having to do 3 dips of the yellow because the peel base had just dried the dip base a little bit funky that was over top of it. So the rest of my nails have 2 dips of each color on them, and that's pretty much what I consistently do, regardless of how long my nails are. Since I always have on rubber base or builder gel down, I build my apex with that, and then I only have to do 2 dips of the dip color. It works really nice because then my nails don't get super thick and bulky. So since I only am doing 2 dips of the color, I apply my dip base over my entire nail, and I want to do 2 full dips. My apex was built with the builder gel or rubber base. I don't have to worry about that. So my 2 dips of the color and then the 1 dip of the clear, they're both all the way back to the end of my nails, giving the full coverage so I don't have to worry about building any type of apex with them. When you're using a shimmer dip, it works really nicely to pour the shimmer over your nail. I like to pour over shimmers and solids and then lay my nail flat into glitters, flakes, and foils. Those 2 methods of application just work really well for me, but you definitely want to focus on keeping your dip base thin. If you don't keep your dip base thin, your nails are going to get a little bit thicker. So obviously my middle finger ends up looking a little bit thicker than the rest of my nails because I had to do an extra dip of the color compared to the other ones. But the other ones were like able to stay nice and thin. Especially if your nails are short, you don't need much of an apex. I try to make sure I have at least some apex built, but I don't go crazy since they're short. I only like really focus on the apex when my nails are long, which I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm going to be going back to long nails for a while again. I don't know. I'm enjoying the shorties a lot. Now, once you are finished dipping all of your colors, after each layer, you want to brush off the excess powder really well. That's something else that keeps your nails from getting too bulky. Then you can go in with your clear dip powder over all of your nails, brush off the excess, and then activate. And you can file and shape and buff so that they're nice and smooth. I decided that since I was going to be doing stamping, that I was going to do my stamping first since it's reverse stamping and get that completely done before I went in and filed and shaped and buffed, which is why my nails don't look nice and smooth as I'm doing the stamping. This is like a new way that I was going to try it. So now we can talk all about stamping and some to-dos and not to-dos. When you are applying the polish to your stamping plate, you want to make sure that you don't apply so much that it floods the plate. That is the first step in getting your stamping to be nice right off the bat and having things be a little bit easier for you. So when I first started, I was putting way too much stamping polish on the plates and flooding them and not understanding why I need to scrape like 10 times to get the polish off. You want to have just enough polish to cover the image that you're doing. When you first use a new plate, you want to take some pure acetone on a cotton ball and wipe it over the entire plate and let that dry. That's how you prep a plate. For prepping a stamper, people have asked me about this, and I know I've heard people in my stamping groups do like all kinds of crazy stuff to prep their jelly stampers, but all I do is take a lint roller and roll it on this jelly stamper like a bunch of times to get anything off it, and that works really well for me. I've been doing that for a while and have never had an issue as long as I've used a clean lint roller to roll it across the stamp. So I know some people do other things like leaving the stamper on a piece of paper towel overnight after they wash it. Yeah, I've never done any of that. Maybe it makes your stampers last longer, but I've never tried that, so if you try that and you really love it and you have a reason as to why, like definitely let me know in the comments if there's a reason why people like to do that. When you're doing reverse stamping, I think that why it's so great for beginners is once you get your initial image down and you're comfortable with picking up an image, reverse stamping is just coloring in. So I have this little glass nail art palette that I got off Amazon. I put some stamping polish down on it and then take toothpicks to go in and fill in the design, fill in the colors. Some people like to use a really thin nail art brush. Some people like to use dotting tools. For me, the reason why I really love the toothpicks is because they're really tiny, so the point is so small at the end. For somebody like me who's a little bit messy and a little bit rough on things, having the toothpicks that are really small, it just helps me to be able to control where I'm putting the polish on the image. So when you're filling in an image, you don't have to be worried about getting the color like on top of the white. I did white as the main part of the image. Then I filled in with all these different colors. And I'll make sure I leave all the colors that I used in the description. They're from Maniology. So when I'm filling the colors in, you want to get a decent amount onto your toothpick and then kind of just plop it over the area you want. And it's okay if it gets a little bit onto the white because only the outline of the white's going to show up. So let's say that you use black to pick up the main image or blue or yellow. That's going to show up, and then anything that you use to fill in will show up in the areas like that are popping through. Any of the little empty areas that you put the colors in on the stamp, that's going to show up as well. You saw me flip it over. You could kind of see how it's starting to come together. And some people like to use a light color on their nails when they're stamping. I've stamped on all kinds of different colors for my background, since I do dip nails. It just depends on how you want your stamp to look, which is why I typically go with white for my main stamped image so that the images really pop when I'm doing the reverse stamping. One other thing that you want to make sure when you're doing reverse stamping is you have to let that initial image dry. If you don't let it dry and you try to fill in the empty spaces with color, it is going to smear. And after you did all that work, you definitely don't want to smear it. Once I finished doing my stamps, I set them aside and let them dry, and then I did all my buffing and shaping off camera so that we could get right into the stamping. And I'm going to show you some new techniques that you're going to absolutely love. I saw someone on a video, I cannot for the life of me remember where it was. They used tape to get the excess stamp polish off their skin instead of using acetone. And I was like, oh my gosh, mind blown. I am so trying this. I did it this past time and it worked really well. So if you don't want to use a ton of acetone, or like for me, I have to use a non-acetone polish remover since I'm allergic to acetone now, I just went in first with the tape, like to get any off my skin, and then just took a little tiny bit of the non-acetone polish remover remover and went around to make sure that like nothing was sticking up. I decided to very carefully put the stamps on so that I could use them on all 5 nails, even though I only did 3 reverse stamps. And it worked really well. So part of the stamp stayed on when I was applying it to anywhere that was just on my skin. It didn't stick to it. And I was able to use those stamps, the excess stamps on my pinky and thumb to make sure that I had a little design on those as well. I started off with sticky base, and you wait till it's tacky. So you can like tap your finger a little bit. Once it's tacky, then you can go ahead and apply the stamp down. Once that dries for a few minutes, you can go in with a layer of Maniology or some kind of smudge-free top coat. That protects your stamp from smearing, and then once that dries, you can go in with a really shiny nail polish top coat. Now, if you're sitting here and you're like, Nicole, yes, I am so ready to do more reverse stamping. Let's go. I want to stamp. Make sure you check out this next video, and I will help you with more reverse stamping and how you can top it with clear dip powder if you do dips as well. Thanks for joining me today, Nail Crew.